Everyone talks about becoming a millionaire. That is the dream people sell you. The big house, the freedom, the perfect life. But almost nobody talks about the moment everything actually starts changing. Not when you hit $1 million. Not when you make your first 100,000. Not even when you reach 50,000. It starts much earlier than that. It starts at $20,000. Because 20,000 is the point where money stops feeling like survival and starts feeling like power. It is the point where you stop reacting to life and start thinking ahead. And once you cross it, you do not just see money differently. You see yourself differently too. Think about this for a second. You wake up, check your phone, and before your day has even started, money is already on your mind. Rent is coming. Your credit card bill is sitting there. Gas costs more than it used to. Groceries somehow get more expensive every single week. You swipe your card and there is always that tiny moment of tension. That tiny pause, that quiet hope that it does not get declined. You check your bank account before buying basic things, not luxury things. Basic things. Food, toilet paper, laundry detergent. Stuff you should not have to stress about. And for a lot of people in America, this is normal. This is not bad money management. This is just life. But something strange starts to happen when you finally save $20,000. It does not just change your bank account, it changes the feeling of your life. Because $20,000 is not just money. It is space. Space to think. Space to breathe. Space to stop feeling like one bad week could ruin everything. Shift 1. You stop panicking before $20,000. Every expense feels personal. Every problem feels like it is coming straight for your peace. Your car makes a weird sound and your stomach drops. A medical bill shows up and your whole mood changes. Some random charge hits your account, and suddenly you are D8 owing mental math at midnight. Because when you do not have a cushion, every inconvenience feels like a crisis. A flat tire is not just a flat tire, it is stress. A broken phone is not just annoying, it is panic. An unexpected fee is not just frustrating, it is anxiety because you already know your budget was tight before it even happened. But after $20,000, something changes. The problems do not disappear. Life still happens. Cars still break down. Bills still show up. But you do not panic the same way. Because for the first time, life stops feeling like one long financial emergency. You realize you can handle things. And that changes your body before it even changes your lifestyle. Your shoulders feel lighter. Your mind gets quieter. You stop reacting with fear. You breathe differently. Shift 2, your decisions change. One of the biggest things that changes after $20,000 is not your lifestyle. It is your decision making. Because when you are broke, a lot of your choices are not really choices. They are reactions. You take the first job offer, not because it is right for you, but because you need money now. You stay in environments that drain you, because leaving feels too risky. You say yes to things you hate, just because your bank account says you do not have the luxury to say no. That is what financial pressure does. It does not just affect your wallet, it affects your standards. It makes you tolerate things you would never accept if you had breathing room. But after $20,000, something shifts. You stop moving like someone who is cornered. You do not grab the first opportunity out of fear. You do not stay stuck just because a paycheck is attached to the pain. You do not keep saying yes just because you are scared of what happens if you say no. Because now, for the first time, you have options. And options change everything. Options make you calmer. Options make you more selective. Options make you think. You start asking, is this actually good for me? Not just, can this help me survive the month? That is a different life. Because once money stops controlling your urgency, you start making decisions from clarity instead of fear. And that is when your life begins to move in a completely different direction. Shift 3, you start thinking long-term before $20,000. Your mindset is survival. You are thinking about Friday, the next bill, the next paycheck, the next problem. Your brain is not focused on building a future. It is focused on getting through the week. And when that is your reality, long-term thinking feels almost impossible. You are not asking how to grow wealth. You are asking how to make it to next month. But after $20,000, your relationship with time starts to change. You stop thinking only in days. You start thinking in years. You start looking at money differently, not just as something to spend, not just as something to protect, but as something that can be used to build. You begin asking different questions. What if I invest this instead of touching it? What if I use this cushion to start something small on the side? What if I stop chasing instant pleasure and start playing a longer game? What if patience actually pays more than pressure? That is when wealth really begins. Not when you look rich. Not when you impress people. Not when you buy something expensive to prove a point. Wealth begins the moment your mind expands beyond survival. Because once you can finally breathe, you can finally plan. And once you start planning, you stop living life by accident. You start building it on purpose. Shift 4, your confidence quietly rises. Another thing that changes after $20,000 is your confidence. Not the loud kind, not the kind that needs attention, not the kind that tries to prove something. This confidence is quieter than that. It is subtle, but it is powerful, because when you know you have money set aside, you stop carrying the same energy. You walk differently, you speak differently, you show up differently. There is less desperation in you, less tension, less need to impress people who were never going to save you anyway. You stop chasing validation from people who look successful but are secretly stressed. You stop needing everybody to think you are doing well. You stop performing stability because now you are starting to feel it for real. And that changes something deep inside you. Because confidence does not always come from more attention. Sometimes it comes from more security. Sometimes it comes from knowing that if life hits you, you will not immediately fall apart. That feeling is hard to explain until you experience it. It is not arrogance. It is not ego. It is not pride. It is peace, a private kind of confidence that says deep down, I am okay. And when a person truly feels okay, they stop moving like they have something to prove. Shift 5. You see how people are trapped once you reach this point. You start noticing things you never saw clearly before. You start noticing patterns. You see people upgrading apartments they honestly cannot afford. You see people financing cars that stretch them every month. You see people dressing like success while privately living in financial pressure. You start seeing how much of modern life is built around looking stable instead of actually being stable. And once you see that, it is hard to unsee it. You realize a lot of people are not building freedom. They are building expensive cages. Everything looks good from the outside. The apartment looks nice. The car looks impressive. The vacations look exciting. But underneath all of it, there is pressure, monthly payments, constant upkeep, a lifestyle that has to keep being fed. And for the first time, you are not as tempted by it. That is what changes. Before, you might have looked at those things and felt behind. You might have felt like you needed to catch up, like you needed to look the part, even if it cost your peace. But now, you see the trade-off. You understand that appearances can be rented. But stability has to be built. So instead of feeling jealous, you feel aware of how easy it is to get trapped, aware of how many people are spending their future just to feel important in the present, aware that looking rich and being secure are two completely different lives, and that awareness protects you. Here's the part no one really tells you. Saving $20,000 will not automatically make you feel rich. It sounds like it should. It sounds like crossing that number should come with some huge emotional reward, some big sense of arrival, some moment where you finally relax and think, yes, I made it. But that is usually not what happens. In fact, you might still feel behind. You might still look around and see people driving nicer cars than you, living in better apartments, taking more trips, posting flashier moments online, eating at nicer places, wearing the kind of lifestyle that looks like success. And for a moment, you will question yourself. You will wonder if you are doing this wrong. You will wonder if being careful is making you fall behind. You will wonder if all your discipline is costing you the kind of life other people seem to be enjoying already. That is the emotional trap. Because money is not just math, it is comparison, it is ego, it is insecurity, it is the silent pressure of watching other people look further ahead than you. But what you do not see is the full picture. What you do not see is how many of those people are carrying monthly pressure behind the scenes. How many are one missed paycheck away from panic? How many are holding together a beautiful lifestyle with debt, stress, and constant financial tension? And while all of that is happening, you are doing something less exciting, but far more powerful. You are building something real, something quieter, something slower, something that does not always impress people right away, but something that can actually hold your life up when things get hard, and that matters more than looking rich ever will. This is the part where your identity starts to change. Not just your bank account, not just your habits, you. Because at a certain point, you stop trying to look wealthy. You stop trying to perform success for other people. You stop needing the image before you have the foundation. You stop spending money just to feel like you are keeping up. And instead, you start becoming stable. That is a completely different goal. Stability is not as glamorous. It is not as visible. It does not get the same attention. But it is stronger. Because when your focus shifts from image to foundation, everything about your life starts maturing. You stop chasing quick wins. You stop needing money to move fast just so you can feel important. You stop looking for shortcuts that make you feel ahead for a moment but leave you weak underneath. And you start building slow power, the kind of power that comes from discipline, the kind of power that comes from restraint, the kind of power that does not always look exciting, but changes your future in ways people cannot see yet. And that shift is bigger than most people realize. Because this is what separates people who stay broke from people who eventually become free. Not intelligence, not luck, not even income alone. It is identity. The ability to become someone who values peace over performance, stability over status, and long-term freedom over short-term appearance. That is where real wealth starts. In the end, $20,000 is not really about the money represents. It represents control. The kind of control that comes from not being pushed around by every bill, every emergency, every unexpected problem. It represents patience. Because nobody accidentally saves that kind of money. You build it decision by decision, day by day, month by month, usually in silence. It represents discipline. The ability to say no when it would be easier to say yes. The ability to hold your position when the world is telling you to spend, upgrade, show off, and keep up. And more than anything, it represents time. Time to think. Time to recover. Time to make better decisions. Time to stop living like every week is a race you are about to lose. That is why this number matters. Because it is proof of something deeper. Proof that you can delay pleasure. Proof that you can resist pressure. Proof that you can choose stability now so your future can become stronger later. And once you learn how to do that, you are not just saving money anymore. You are changing who you are. So if you are not there yet, do not panic, do not rush it, build it, quietly, little by little, choice by choice, month by month. Because once you hit it, everything changes.